Welcome to Analytics Are for the Nerds. We have so much to talk about. It's week 6, 123 days away from the Super Bowl, and the Mets have advanced.
This guy is in the Hall of Fame, consensus Hall of Famer, and I think he sucks. Troy Aikman is absolutely
let's go!
So overrated. He is so overrated.
Those glasses that you're wearing and that fire behind you, I cannot even come close to embarrassing myself as much as you have.
Drink coffee, lady, tonight, yeah.
Thank you. And some people, apparently like Louis, don't like almond joys, and those people are in it.
I'm gonna give you the best deal, the greatest of deals. We need the tight end. We're big on the tight end.
You're not saying embarrassing songs, you're just saying songs that make you dry. So, like,
hard to deal with. And I'm just saying, there ain't no rules about a man having 3 legs. I'm just saying.
Nick Foles was also a 3-leg, but it's funny in the chat. Ellie just asked if we could get Ryan Coleman jersey. Funny you say that. I ordered it the day after round 2 of the draft. I ordered it that Saturday. So it's on its way. It's already pre-ordered. So whenever they start printing those things for shipping out, you get one. Sure.
wait. You paid money to the NFL when Louis could have gotten you one from China?
I could have got you one that said KOHLM.
Coles, man.
Working all night, need more though. I remember nights I was poor though. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Up in my car and I get it up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Up in my car and I get it up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus.
Hello, everyone. The Mets advance, and Louis has edited our video to make it shorter. Back to...
I did not. One day I'm going to crush it, but it ain't going to be today. I am all jacked up on Starburst and adrenaline. I went, as soon as the Mets won, I went down to the bodega. I said, give me your finest Starburst. And so I am all jacked up on sugar and adrenaline. I love this, man. I know you're like a fake Mets fan because you're jumping on my bandwagon to be a good friend. I'm not saying you're just jumping on. I'm just saying you're a supportive friend. You're a Giants fan first.
Yes. I also live in a Mets household. I will also say the San Francisco Giants were the original Mets. So just saying. Just we want to get into history. When you ask the bodega for their finest Starburst, they're like, "Oh, we have this from last Halloween. Here you go."
Oh, 100%. Like these are like.
They're wet.
Like they're not Starburst, they're Jolly Ranchers. They're so hard.
You know when like those kids are white and like
I just broke a tooth. That's so funny. Excellent. No, jacked up. I got home. I left right after the game, got home just in time to see our coach talk to the team. And I love that dude. That dude's like straight out of what's that movie with Al Pacino? Scarface. He's like, okay, what did I tell you when we were in Atlanta? Sorry, it's a really bad Scarface. Like,
you did Cardi B. You just did a Cardi B impression. I don't know.
I did Cardi B. Cardi B is now coaching the Mets. But man, I'll tell you, what an inspiration. I'm here, jacked up, ready to talk some football now.
So exciting. So congratulations. All right. And Ryan, how you doing? You're very classy. And you're very Frank Lloyd Wright, beautiful room. Lovely. The classy one of us all. There you go. Everyone writing. Speaking of classiness and Cardi B, let's talk about some stuff and nothing at all. Let's talk about Cardi B and Stefon Diggs. You guys hear about this?
How crazy is that this is like the second biggest Stefon Diggs story to come out in the last 24 hours? That's the most insane thing. But let's start here. We'll start here. I know, Allie, you're not going to want to start other rumors, but this one's just a rumor too, right? Like, is anybody clarify that this really happened? I'll let you fill it.
So, because Louis loves the tea. He was like, "Oh, we have to talk about this." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And I did a little digging. For some reason, I was thinking LaShawn McCoy, and I was like, "Oh, LaShawn McCoy," and then I just did LaShawn McCoy, and I did Cardi B, and it said that they were together. But I was like, "No, guys, wrong player. It's Stefon Diggs." Yada yada yada. Cardi B has confirmed that they did not have sex when she was 8 months pregnant. Just a rumor, which is kind of funny that we live in a world where you have to be like, "Guys, I didn't have sex with a football player when I was 8 months pregnant." It's kind of fun. So yeah, that's the rumor that
well, that's only one of the rumors. Are you trying to ignore the other rumor, or are you playing dumb? Can you give me a signal? Give me a signal here.
As live, I think everyone can have whomever they want.
I'm just no. I mean, let's start with the 8 months pregnant thing.
I'm gonna do my Allie the Ally hat. I don't care if he's.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that are coming out about Stefon Diggs in 24 hours. The dude just gets a back in the game. Collins gets hurt. We want to talk about him in fantasy football and how he might be a top 12 wide receiver now. And then within 24 hours, he's sleeping with 8-month pregnant women and drugging dudes like
drugging thing with the dragging, and then the guy was like, "Stop!" And then his like brother like
beat him up.
Right? I like that it's like Steve Urkel's or his brother's like it's like Stefon and Urkel Diggs. It's like Mushon.
I am I don't have to clarify this. We are an alley show here. Like I don't give a shit about it. If sexuality is not the thing here. I just am trying to think of if this adds stories to how him and Josh started their rift, because it was what if Steph was jealous and told Brittany about the affair with the bartender because he wanted a little bit of Josh? We don't know that now. Now it sounds like that could have happened. I do think it's funny. Just imagine like a movie of like Josh. Wait, hold on. Just like
Ryan should jump in and just say allegedly whenever you and I say anything.
Allegedly. Okay. I think it would be funny just to like assume like a movie scene and just like Josh, you just cut to Josh just waking up like hungover, wiping the drool off his face and like, "Oh man, I'm never drinking again." And then he just like pans to the side and just Stefon just rubbing his hair.
Okay, so
I thought about that so much today, and then like the look at midfield,
the side eye
thing, like that is a lover scorned. I'm not. Tell me that's not a view.
You know when people repeat crimes because it's like that's the in thing, like they don't want like what is that called? Like, is this like the new?
Wait, I know what you're saying.
What is it when you repeat a crime, Ryan? You know.
Like a copycat
killer, right? Okay, I know what you're saying.
Is that like the cool thing for weirdos now is to like do the Diddy parties? Is that like drugging people? I mean, I don't know. I think that is just you don't want to.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of social media taking over the world right now, but it is. Let's just say Stefon Diggs has had a busy 24 hours, and but he talks a lot, so I'm sure there will be response. That's one good thing about him is I'm sure that there will be answers to this sooner rather than later because he.
But you'll have to have like a decoder, to translate what his message is. It's going to be very cryptic. It's also Twitter. To me, it just brings me back to the video that the Minnesota Vikings took back when he was still with them, and they asked every player, who is the guy on your team that you'd least like your sister to date, and every single one of them said Steph Diggs. So
yeah,
he's got a reputation. So there's that story about the hotel, right, with the
New Year's Eve or something.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So
he did just tweet hashtag no Diddy. I think he's trying to clarify things. Hashtag no Diddy from Steph. I know. Maybe
allegedly
no Diddy.
Right. Are we safe?
Let's go back here. What was your original opinion about the Cardi B thing? Like, did you believe it
Oh.
right away? Did you dig? You went
No.
down that hole for sure.
Yeah, so I know I kind of just jumped in on it because I didn't go straight to the assault. I went right just to having sex with a pregnant woman because it was the easier of the two. Poor Offset. No, I don't think. I think Cardi B is so confident with who she is. She would immediately be like, "I can go someone way cooler than that," and like having to have sex in Houston. Ew, like.
It's too hot. Honestly, I'm not. Oh my god, yeah.
No. Like,
Okay. I was wondering. Is it the weirder thing for you that she was 8 months pregnant, or that it was Stefan Diggs and Cardi B?
I think Stefan Diggs is. I mean, it's weird if the drugging thing is true. It's weird to say this right now. I think he's like a super hot guy. He's very attractive, so I get the appeal, and I like his confidence when he carries his Louis Vuitton purse. But yeah, I just think it's so random to say those two because it's just so.
Yes, yeah. To put
it just doesn't like. I feel like she would call him like a little bitch or something. Like there would be some like, and he would. I just can't imagine. Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of a little bitch, like I love. I mean, give him some credit. Like he's not out here just messing. He's messing out with these gangster rappers, girls. I'm giving it up for stuff. He's not. If he's out there not caring.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know.
I know.
Money's a weird thing, you know. Money gives you power. You went to Europe, you came back, you said, "Hey, I want to ride a horse," and you're fucking taking horse lessons now because you're rich. I mean, I hate you rich people that do whatever you guys want. It sucks so much.
One of my friends. So I'm trying to. You know, we all do therapy, so they say horses are supposed to do that. So I'm like, I love animals, so I started taking. I had one horse lesson, horseback riding lesson. So I'm going to do it again. And I love it. And I took a picture, posted on Instagram, and someone was like, "Why do I feel like you already have been taking lessons for a while? Like, I thought that was like your thing." And I was like, "Oh no, you probably got confused because competitive sail. I've been doing that for a few decades." And I was like, "Oh my God, I am such an annoying wasp. I'm the worst. They hate me."
I saw Ellie in the grocery store the other day, and she like loudly, like there was, you know, we were talking, we did that thing, like we just saw each other that morning. It was Sunday morning after the podcast that we saw each other 2 hours later. It was that thing like, you have to say something now. Neither of us want to talk to each other. We got an hour before the game. We got to get there. We're trying to shop, but we had to stop and at least acknowledge each other. And then but we stayed far enough away from each other that she's loudly talking about how she's going on her first horseback lesson. And I'm like, stop brag. Like, I'm literally going to get bread so I can make friggin' peanut butter and jelly for dinner. And you're going to, we had different Sundays is all I'm saying.
Is it that waspy? It's like me and Ed Oliver just shoveling manure. Like that's, I don't know. I don't think it's waspy, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you're beating those allegations. Everything that you're just describing. I mean, we're just talking about Steph Diggs, Maryland guy. I mean, that's very Maryland activity you're talking about. You're going sailing, you're going horseback riding, you know, crab cakes are on the menu. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
vegan by choice, not because I want to be, you know. I'm like,
yeah. I am 20 minutes removed, Ryan. You weren't here. I think you had stepped out for a second. I'm 20 minutes removed from telling Ellie about how I'm going leaf peeping next week with two dudes. We're going to Portland, Maine. So that is very much.
Wait, you're going there for what?
I'm leaf peeping. You know, the leaves are beautiful this time of year. We're just bringing in the nature.
I'm fine with the idea. There's just got to be a better term for that.
No, leaf peeping's cool. I think that's the way you put it. We're literally going. We're all driving. It's gonna be that's a very basic bitch thing to do. So I should not complain, or I should not make fun of you too much. But you've been doing it for years.
Just make sure you guys all take outfit of the day photos, and then
100%, 100%.
Oh, so good. Well, I'm sorry that I'm very punchable. That's what I'm going to say about my new therapy. All right, everyone. We have a lot of opinions from last week. What were some of your hits and misses? Louis, you want to go first?
Yeah, so we went through every game, right? Last week we shot through it, and we did have a lot of I think I texted you guys at like 2:00, was like, man, we're like one or two things away from having like a perfect, and then things kind of went downhill from there a little bit, right? When I sent the text, just like that. But I called the Burrow big game, and I had him and Higgins and a lot of GPPs. I did well there. I said the Bengals were going to win that game, and it looked like that was going to be true until that a great play by Lamar at the end of the game. And just, the high scoring thing happened, right? And we talked about how everybody in that game was going to blow up, and that happened. You called it a prove it game for Jaden Daniels, right? And man, did he do it. Like, is he now Dynasty QB1 to you?
I love this question. I love getting questions like this on young players, like after they've had a handful of starts, right? Same sort of questions were being asked about CJ Stroud last year. The difference, in my opinion, and why I think it's more legitimate that Daniels could be the QB1 overall is because he has that rushing upside. I mean, Stroud is just never going to give you that on the ground. Daniels has the juice as a passer, and he also is delivering Lamar-esque, running, if not better. So I'm all in on him. I think other than maybe Lamar and Josh, like he's got to be 3 at worst, in my opinion.
Yeah. I wonder if there aren't Josh for Daniels trades going on this week. I mean, there's going to be, right? Like, I don't know those sites that you could check to like see kind of what the percentage of, but I guarantee you on a rebuilding team, there's somebody willing to trade Josh for Jaden Daniels across the country, which is weird when you think of where we're at just 5-6 weeks ago on him. Couple other things we talked about. I mentioned that I thought that last week was a show me now for Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson does. Breece Hall again struggles. I know you were thinking last week was a breakout week. Didn't happen. I thought it was the breakout week. So, I mean, we're 2 weeks in a row now. New coaching staff. Now, I think a new coaching staff is going to help him because I'm just hoping that a new coaching staff comes in, sees where the mistakes have been made, and say, okay, this is our guy. We're going to get back to this. But how worried are you right now?
Well, you say new coaching staff. Is there any less important coaching staff change that there could be in the NFL than one that's that Aaron Rodgers is at the helm, right? I mean, he's running that show. He really is. I mean, the report about Saleh wanting or potentially considering firing Hackett, and then gets his rug swept out from underneath him. So the leaves are blowing in the direction that they're just going down with Rodgers, right? He's not going to be performing, I think, for the rest of the year, and unfortunately they're stuck with him. So. I'd like to think that Breece and Garrett, continue to get more opportunities, and maybe they will. But man, please do not give them Devontae Adams. Just stay as far away from New York City or New Jersey as possible.
So let's talk about the Jets for a second, because the Saleh, was it that expected? Yes, I think there's some talks that should have happened last year. I'm very anti Aaron Rodgers, and I just think he's a noodle. Do you put any investment in the Jets? Like, what's your,
It makes me more scared now. I thought Saleh was a very good coach, but I thought that there was enough dissension there and enough, weirdness with Rodgers and him and Hackett really kind of calling the plays. And then, the report came out that he was going to relieve Hackett of the plays. Then he's fired 5 minutes of the play calling. Then he's fired 5 minutes later. And Aaron Rodgers goes on Pat McAfee today and says he had no idea. No one called him. Like, come on.
Yeah,
that was
talked about his family. He's a great wife. Like, well, no one cares.
Yeah, no. Aaron Rodgers put that call in on the bat phone. You could not tell me anything different. And so I thought that train was going to keep on going downhill. I always hate, especially being the team that they're playing, and as a Bills fan next week, I always hate that kind of like, the week after, that little bump up from having a new coach and wanting to play. Like, that scares me as a Bills fan this week. But I guess the biggest thing I'm looking from this is I do think that this means Aaron Rodgers runs the team, which will mean well for Garrett Wilson, who I'm very heavily invested in. So I'm taking this as a good thing for Garrett Wilson. I do think Breece Hall could get back on track, hopefully with a different direction. And then, as far as their just overall look, as long as the Bills keep playing that the way they have the last couple of weeks, it's going to be a close division.
But the Jets don't have an easy schedule coming up, so it's
Yeah, to me, Saleh was somewhat of a sympathetic figure. I think he got kind of a raw deal. Bringing in Rodgers, then you saw at least the team was somewhat functional last year when Rodgers was out, right? And now Rodgers is back in the fold, and he conveniently kicks his coach out. So
yeah, good
luck to them. But not next week.
Couple other things to mention from week 5. We had the listener question of Shaheed and Sermon over Ford. We called that right. Shaheed, man. Shaheed hit me. I had on Monday Night Football, that was a game I said last week, I thought the Saints were going to win too. And they looked like they got all the chances, man. They really did until Carr got hurt. They gave that game away to KC. But the Shaheed, the big play, I had a parlay, him scoring a touchdown, Kareem Hunt scoring a touchdown, Kareem Hunt over 60 yards rushing, and Olave and Shaheed over 60 yards receiving, or 80 yards receiving, I think, and that hit. That was a nice little 4-team thing. But those were two guys that I've been big on that really hit. That was good. Sermon had an okay game. Looks like Taylor's back this week. I would have really loved to at least get a real big spike week out of Sermon, as it looks like he's going right back to the bench. And we both crushed. I want to mention Josh Downs because, we both crushed that as far as our thoughts on the game. Richardson looks like he's coming back with the Pittman injury. And, the reputation that Downs and Richardson had in the preseason, I'm kind of still all in on him here. And I think I don't think he's a very achievable piece in Dynasty to go get him from somebody right now, but I would, I would overpay right now to get him on my rosters.
Well, I made 2 moves for Josh Downs this past offseason. I think one was an insanely cheap move of a 4th or a Josh Downs and a 4th for a 3rd, so just moving back 1 round. I also bought him from you, Louis, in that Bryce Young and Nico Collins trade, but we do have some good trades to talk about in the context of Dynasty, so maybe they'll come up here.
Yeah.
Well, and I would love to ask you a question, and that is, where do we grade ETN going forward, and are you holding or trading?
So I have legitimate concerns about Travis Etienne right now, and so when I'm looking at Adam Levitin's tweet from, what was this, yesterday, 2 days ago, his efficiency numbers this year, comparing Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. Bigsby is 1st in rush yards over expectation per attempt, 3rd in PFF grade, 50% success rate, and 1st in yards per carry. While Etienne is 18th in rush yards over expectation, 55th in PFF grade, 56.6% success rate, and 27th in yards per carry. So any efficiency metric that you're looking at, Bigsby's taken the lead. And, not only that, I think just honestly that the eye test, right? You're watching these games. I mean, Bigsby has that explosion. He has that. I mean, his yards after contact right now are absurd. He's off the chart good this year. And we heard so much hype about Bigsby this offseason, right? So I think when you have situations like this where you're wondering, should I trust what I'm seeing? Go back and, ask yourself. It's like with Puka last year. Did you hear stuff in the offseason? Well, yeah, Jordan, what's her name? Jordan Rodriguez, right? From out in LA. She was saying that Puka was going to be a thing, and there he was. So yeah, I'm all in on Bigsby. I think if you have him right now, I think you just have to hold him, or if you can convince someone that he's still the RB1 that he was drafted, first round talent, then sell him for a RB2 or wide receiver 3 equivalent.
Yeah, I'm not sold on this going the opposite way just yet. I mean, if you take away the 2 big runs that Bigsby had, he averaged like 1.6 yards per carry the other day. And again, you can't do that. I hate that point a lot when people are like, you take those 2 away, and well, he had those 2, and he had the games, and that's part of what his game is going to be. But I just still want to bet on the talent of ETN, and if things keep going awry here, and they want Bigsby to go, he might be a trade candidate, and that's why I might be shopping for him over the next couple of weeks. Because give me ETN on the Cowboys, and man, is his value like skyrocket.
Good point.
So that's kind of where I'm. If I could have somebody get rid of, I don't think anyone's going to get rid of him for a second, but I'm going to at least go tackle him for a maybe try to do a early second, late first value probably across leagues this week. I still think he has some value just because of the talent, and I'll bet on the talent. He's got 3 more years of probably productivity in the league, whether it be here or there. I think this is going to be the cheapest you'll get him.
All right. My next question is, if you're in a deep tight end premium league where you're good, what is a back end tight end you'd be targeting right now to find you stability for the year, but possibly in the future as well? Ryan, you want to take that?
Well, of course, and
I'm super impressed that you got through that without laughing once, because I had to look down and try so hard to not. I was like, grandma.
Right.
I was trying so hard not to giggle. Sorry.
Super tight end. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, in typical me fashion, I'm going to give 3 back end tight ends. All right, they're quick. All right, I'm going to give them in order of what their cost is, right, from most expensive to least expensive. Okay, first is Cade Otton. He's not going to be flashy, but really, if you get sustained, 6 to 10 points from your tight end position this year, that's like tight end 1 worthy, as pathetic as the position has come to be. So he's reliable. He's still young enough to give you some good games going forward. So he's one. I like the next one perhaps the most. It's Eric All. I mentioned him before Eric All was a thing. If we remember, I think it was after week 2. Yep. I brought him up as a deep sleeper. This guy, I'm telling you, he's going to keep getting opportunities in this offense. They've been talking about him every week. His snap percentage is going up. Gesicki's is going down. Gesicki has never shown to be a big volume producer, and there's a need in that offense, right? I mean, if Yoshibas's role is going to go down, they're going to need a potential third, target, and he's looking like he's going to continue to get a role. So go get Eric All if you can. And my last one, really, really deep, Cade Stover. This is not really for this year at all, but I think Dalton Schultz is as good as out the door next year. So, did he sign a contract?
No, but I think you're right, but I'm just nodding my head with your Dalton Schultz hate. But I think you're probably right. Jordan can't stay healthy. Stover looks like he's got some. I think that's a really good a really good buy as a buy team now. As a rebuild team. I agree. Yeah. Sorry, you could keep. I'm sorry. You could have kept talking. I didn't mean to cut you off with that. I really
point out well. Yeah, that's it.
And I like them both. And Eric All, I think, between you selling me on it, the routes keep on going up with Eric All. Like, that's something that is looking. And Gesicki's not doing bad. He's producing, so that's kind of delayed this. But they're still trying to get All involved. Say that 3 times, but trying to get him involved. So I really like that one. That's a good one. I think the one that makes the most sense as far as like on a buy now, try to win team, and they wouldn't have obviously as much in the future, but you can get Ertz or Gesicki, other guy, just so cheap right now that they would be guys that I would be targeting. A guy that I think still has something, like, I think people are just assuming when Higbee gets back, or if Higbee gets back, Parkinson's dead. I think Parkinson's just the starter there now, and Higbee will probably. So I think you could probably get Parkinson cheap here in the next couple of weeks, with people just assuming that he's about to lose his job, and I don't think that's the case. Before we move on, there's some dynasty stuff that we wanted to. I went today. Ryan sent me a trade offer, one of those just hey, what do you think about this? And then I went back and sent him a counter. And then I said, don't respond now. Let's talk about it on the podcast. Ooh. And then I said, you know what, even be better. I'm going to go through we're in 4. It's not 27, Allie, but we're in 4 leagues. Guys, I said, I'm going to send you a trade offer in each one, and we'll discuss it real quick. So let's start with the one that you originally, the league that your dynasty league, you sent me, you were thinking Diggs, Watson. This is a super flex league. You were thinking Diggs, Deshaun Watson, and who was the other guy? And Aiden O'Connell for a 2026 first and Taylor Kraft. Correct? Do I have that right? Tyler Kraft. Yeah. I'm not going that way. I denied that one for a couple different reasons. I don't. This team's winning, but it's not great. I just don't feel like it's good. I feel like you have such a monopoly in that league that it's you, and then kind of the other tier, and then just a bunch of. So I don't want to give up first. I don't think I can catch up with you in the next couple years if I'm giving up first, and then. The other thing is I like Kraft. He is my starting tight end now, luckily, and I really don't have much behind him. So I countered to get Diggs, AJ Brown, and O'Connell for Nico Collins and Cook. I'm going to explain my kind of thinking real quick on there. You're super deep on wide receivers. So there's weeks that you might not even be starting those two, right? Because you have like 4 or 5 guys that are ahead of these two even. AJ Brown, you probably have in that starting role most weeks, but you're so deep there. What a roster, by the way. I've never seen a wide receiver, but I'm just trying to pump you up before I give you this offer.
Yeah, right.
But no, seriously. And then so Nico, so I had Nico over AJ Brown, which I think is right, even with the injury and a dynasty value. And then Cook for Diggs and O'Connell is the way I thought it. And you're smiling, but go ahead to tell me why you think that's wrong.
No, I'm smiling because of Allie's comment in the chat. But
I didn't even see it.
No, look, I think from a value perspective, it's very close. Here's the problem I have with it. I'm just not a big Cook guy. I think you know that. I like Collins. I'd love to get Collins back. I don't know if I want to basically get Collins back at the expense of AJ Brown and Diggs, who's going to give me production through this year. And, but again, you're right. I'm not potentially starting him. So it's close. I think I went into this trying to solve my tight end problem, or perceived problem. And if Tucker Kraft is a non-starter, it might be tough, but I might go back to the drawing board and see if even, we take Cook out, what other piece I have to take out to get that done. I might consider, something little less.
Nico for Brown and AOC might work if you have Nico.
Okay. So that's where you're at.
That's where I would have. I would think that that's the closest thing. I would think that that's pretty close just without really thinking about it. I don't have Nico much higher than AJ Brown with the injury, considering the injury. I don't want to I'm taking a hit off of that. I would have had him quite a bit higher than AJ Brown a week ago, but I do it. Kind of take that into account. So I think AOC would bridge that gap. We'll talk about that one later. Let's go to another one where I wanted Garrett Wilson for ETN and Jameson Williams. Again, I just talked up ETN, not knowing that I was about to try to convince you, but you're not great at running back in that league, if I remember right. And that was kind of, What you're saying?
I do have my boy Tank Bigsby, so I do have the better of the two Jacksonville running backs at the moment.
But, I'm giving you a little bit of security there, having them both.
It does. I'm giving you a hard time. It's a creative offer in the sense of I like the offers when you go to the team and you're like, listen, I'm going to try to solve your problems for you. I'm going to try to you need this, I need that. Let's make a trade that works for both of us. And that's how you have good relationships with other fantasy managers. But I think the problem with that trade is that I don't believe like you that I'm in trouble at the running back position. I got Jonathan Brooks coming back from IR in the next couple of weeks probably. And I already have Jordan Mason and Rico Dowdle. I have those good like RB 2 to 3s that'll get me through, and the strength of my team is everywhere else. And as close as I think it might be with Jameson and Garrett right now, I just don't think that, Garrett Wilson just earned 22 targets. I just don't think Jameson Williams ever is going to earn 22 targets in a game, right? It's just not in his range of outcomes. He's a different player. So it's harder to give up that security. But again, I think it's a fair on the value, like right on the nose.
I think we would confuse people with the one from Blood, Sweat, and Beers, because of the contracts and stuff. But I don't think I don't think I have to explain to you what I was thinking there. I think it works when you really consider the taxi squad and stuff like that with the contract years and everything. And I'm to be perfectly honest with that, there's a Tank Dell and Rachaad White part of that where I'm a little bit lower on Tank and I would be receiving them, and a little bit higher on Rachaad White and I'm sending them. So I could understand if values are a little bit off there, but you take a look at that one. The last one I want to mention is, and this one is a super flex start to tight end premium league. So tight ends have crazy values here. No one would ever understand it if you're not in one of these leagues. And so sometimes the tight end value seems crazy, but I offered you Joe Flacco, who knows, he might not get even another start. Najee Harris, Raheem Mostert that just regained value. I know that you hate Najee, and then Chig Okonkwo, who is without you saying anything about this, I think is probably somewhere in between a 2 and a 1. Unfortunately, in these leagues because of the scoring. But that's kind of where I ranked the three. I ranked Najee and Chig over a 2. Mostert's the easy 3 snap right now, and then Flacco the 4. So I'm probably asking for too much. Just looking at that as I say it out loud, but that changes really quick if Flacco gets another game or 2.
Yeah, not for me, only because this one I felt like was the farthest one off for me, only because the first is such a premium, and I've been, especially given my history with this league, I just paid big prices to go acquire Patrick Mahomes, and I'd given up a number of picks to do that. So I'm just now getting back into a year where I'll have some young, influx of youth again. So it'd be really tough to trade that all in and acquire a 39-year-old running back and Najee Harris. I mean, come on, I'd pay maybe a 4th round pick for that guy. I mean, actually, speaking of the hits, I wanted to look up exactly how many points he had, because I think I said he was going to have 9.7 or 9.8.
Oh yeah,
and he was very close to that.
Yeah, it was somewhere around that for sure. While you're looking that up,
9.7. I swear to God, he had 9.7 PPR points.
You're a witch.
Can we have to clip this now? Please go back and clip
funny.
it.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely clip it. That's really funny. He had
14 carries, 42 yards, 3 yards per carry, 2 catches for 35 yards, no touchdowns. There is
9.7. It's not my team. 9.7, dude. That's so great.
It's so
That's
good.
really funny. Yeah, I'll definitely have to clip that. Man, all right, let's move.
All right. Now that we know that Ryan is a witch, let's move on to our cats and dogs of the week.
trying to get our 2 boys ready to carry them to golf tournament before practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke, so you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel's like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here. Meow, looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And it's a
Sorry. Every time the laughing emoji makes me laugh harder than anything else in the show. It's so good. Oh my God.
I for some reason thought that was in the beginning intro clip. That's I was like, oh, I'm so glad Louis like edited our clip, and I forgot. And then once he played that, I was like, nope, still in there.
Still there. Still there.
Still there.
No, still there.
Still there. Oh, guys, we've that's so good. It was gonna be our dog. So cats and dogs of the week. I will go not really related to anything, but my dog of the week will go to Grimace. Thank goodness for Grimace being the lucky character of the MLB. And then my cat is the biggest noodle is just Aaron Rodgers. Imagine being 2-3, not taking responsibility, going and complaining to someone, and then you get a guy fired, and then you like try to make it look cool and not like you're a narc, and you're talking about his family being nice, and he's such a good guy. And like the 2 times you've ever had a conversation with him before you got picked up by their team, that he was really nice. What? What a dork. Ugh. Ryan, do you have your cat and dog of the week?
I do, yes. So I'm going to give you 2 dogs. They are together.
Just what?
Bijan and Brees. Bijan and Brees. Okay, and I'm lumping them together just because they're early, running back draftees that have disappointed, right? So they have both great matchups this week against top 3 running back matchup this week against the Bills and the Panthers. So go back to the well with them, start them with confidence. My cat of the week is someone who I think has been my cat multiple times, but it's Jalen Hurts again. He has had 2 really, really bad performances the past 2 weeks and one was against a Washington defense that's been, largely giving up huge games. So I'm concerned about him. I know he's got some weapons coming back and people are going to get excited about Hurts again, but I am just not a believer. And I still think Cleveland's defense is pretty good. So he's my bench of the week.
Yeah, I like the running backs. I think they're going up against the 31st and the 32nd best rush defense in the league. And hopefully, I mean, like I said last week, and this will be true in some teams. I got really strong running back rooms. I'm not just clicking on Brees this week. I will, I think Bijan's earned that a little bit, but yeah, I'm in hopefully we get 2 big weeks out of those guys because my best ball portfolio can use it. My cat of the week is going to be Raheed Shaheed. And last week I called for him to be one of my dogs and a guy that was going to hit, and he did. He's not the one. I think Olave still hits, honestly. I think Rattler will do a lot more kind of intermediate and stuff like that. And I think he can probably I think sometimes when a bad or backup quarterback comes in, a lot of people downplay the star wide receiver, and I almost want to bump them up because it seems like they funnel the offense through that guy, so I can see a lot of like short little intermediate stuff to Olave, but I don't think Shaheed will have the ability to have the long game that he normally does with Carr. So he'd be my cat. My dog this week, I'm sorry, is Chuba Hubbard. And that is because this is like an NFL thing where, and maybe this is the wrong thinking, but I always feel like right when they're about to get to the end, so a new guy coming in, Jonathan Brooks is probably coming in either this week or next, that these organizations look at these guys as how many miles they have on the, and I think they're just going to try to get another big game from Hubbard before they start mixing in Brooks into that game plan for the next couple of weeks. And I bet he gets fed this week, and he's going against a team in Atlanta that's giving up a lot of points. So I'm going to go Hubbard has one more monster game here this week as my dog of the week.
All right. And then any take on who's going to be 6-0? Any take on Vikings and Kansas City? No hot
I think, I mean, they both have byes this week, right?
Oh, right. So undefeated.
Yeah, I think they both have byes this week. So it's going to be one more week of 2 undefeated teams in the league. But, I think Minnesota is going to run out. But I'll be pulling for I don't think either team is great.
Yeah.
Hot take. I don't think either team is great, but I think that's just the state of the NFL this year and parity and all that stuff. So
it's just pathetic though that Mahomes is the odds-on favorite to win MVP, and he's played horribly. I mean, he's made some good plays, and I get it. He's leading an undefeated team, but I thought we were smarter than that. I thought we were going to look at stuff that actually matters, and he is absolutely not by any stretch of the imagination the most valuable player in the NFL right now. No way.
It should be Darnold. It should be Darnold right now.
Who are you saying should be, Ryan?
I honestly think it should be Darnold.
Lamar is second place, they're saying, right? Isn't he?
Yeah, Lamar's probably would be up there. If it wasn't Darnold, Lamar would be it for me.
I think Lamar has a better case this year than he should have had last year, but that's another discussion. We've had kind of briefly about it, but I think it's probably Lamar for me right now. But Darnold is close. He's definitely most valuable to his team. They would not be. I don't think. I'm not anywhere close to 6-0 without Darnold this year. So,
and now your take on the Walter Payton Award recipient? Anyone? No. Okay. Right, let's move on to. Let's move on to celebrate. Not celebrate the sadness that is for Salah. We're giving him a shout out for the worst firing draft. Take it as you will. He was on my draft pick for most attractive coach, which wasn't the rules that one time we did it. So
we did fight NFL head coach fight club, and you were just naming off dudes you'd fuck.
he was on my top four. He was on my top four. No.
I wonder if he's at home right now and he's all sad, but then he remembers that he got picked very highly in that draft. He's like, oh, actually,
that's it. He's rewatching that one. Like, man, that one girl likes me a lot.
Right. All right, Louis, what's the draft order for tonight for the worst firing?
I got the number one and one I didn't want to be number one, and then Ryan, and then Allie.
Okay, cool.
So I didn't want the number one pick in this because I didn't think anybody would take any of these. This is going to make it really personal. I think.
He's going college. You going college?
Sorry, Norm Macdonald being fired from SNL. I'm going to go with number one. I mean, he was. I mean, he's just the best comedic genius of our time, and for him getting fired from SNL, and then just number one, Norm Macdonald getting fired from SNL is mine.
I love that.
That's a great pick. I'm going to go with what I think is the worst firing in NFL history. There's a couple contenders here, so I'm only going to take one. I'll skip the next best, but I think the worst firing was Andy Reid being fired by the Philadelphia Eagles. It was, I mean, you look at his success now after the Eagles, and I'm not even just talking about with Mahomes. I mean, yeah, Mahomes has helped a lot, but he was also really good with Alex Smith before that, and I think he's just one of the best coaches in NFL history. So to imagine that he got fired by a team and had all of these good years left, like that had to really sting. And they still have not found their coach, and he's definitely not Nick Sirianni. So
very bless you.
Bless you.
Very we're still going. How many can we get? I'm gonna go the worst firing is the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in Greenwich Village in 1911. That fire was devastating. It killed 146 workers, mostly young women died. But it changed the working condition laws in American history. Like it just changed it. They said like, let's not lock doors with people working anymore. It was awful. And the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire is my worst firing.
That's so good.
For my number 2 pick.
That's so good. Kyle Turner is never coming in on the podcast.
Never again. Number 2 worst firing is John Wilkes Booth firing at Lincoln. What
That's
a noodle. You're 26 years old. Let me shoot the president. What a noodle. Get out of here, you dork. I'm gonna go act on stage. You didn't even get casted, loser.
That's
26.
good.
Wait till you get older. Wait, you're not even. You're living in Baltimore. What a cool city. What a loser.
I gotta tell you, I wanted my brain to get there with this draft, and it didn't to get to what you've done so far. So yeah. I love both your answers. Ryan, go ahead.
Ryan.
Yeah, here I'm going to go in a completely different direction. I'm going to go the firing of Tim Murray. Okay, let's get the Tim Murray hive out here. Okay, this is again a very niche, very Buffalo thing, but Sabres general manager for a couple of years, thought he did a great job. You know, brought in a lot of talent, got the short end of the stick. So Tim Murray, after John Wilkes Booth getting shot, is.
I'm not gonna
Lincoln shooting.
I thought you were gonna do a Sabres one. I thought you'd do Ted Nolan, but I knew you were gonna do a Sabres one at some point. I'm gonna go with when Meredith Grey got fired for tampering with that Alzheimer's trial. Like, come on, man! It's she was just trying to help the Chief's wife. Brian, I know you don't know anything about Grey's Anatomy, but she was just trying to help the Chief's wife. She did the right thing. I didn't think she had to get fired for it, but good thing is it was at Grey's Anatomy and they never stay fired. So she was back for the next season. Sloan. She was Grace Sloan. She was back. She was back at the next season. But I thought that was a bad one. This is going to be my sports one. And it's not technically a fired, but I think it's even worse is when the Raiders traded John Gruden to the Bucs and then he beat them in the Super Bowl the next year is like the worst job you can do by letting someone leave your organization and then just getting fucked over. That's like my favorite. And I did, speaking of videos and weird shit that are coming out, go Google John Gruden's latest video after you get off this podcast because that's some weird shit. But I don't know if that's why that came to my mind today or not, but John Gruden getting traded and then winning the Super Bowl against the former team next year is just so good.
All right, for my next pick, I'm going to go Charlie Sheen getting fired from 2.5 Men. Not because it wasn't probably completely warranted, which I'm sure it was, but he was just like, that show was great when he was still in it. And so, yeah, that was a unfortunate.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a great. My number 3 is when Janet Hubert, aka the #1 Vivian Banks anti.
Damn it!
Fresh Prince.
It was. I saved it till last. I thought I was gonna get it.
Oh,
I
no,
didn't think
guys.
either of you get it. That's good.
Look at him. And Vivian, like, why do we fire? What's going on? I don't like that. And
You know what my favorite part about was that? Do you remember the episode after they made the switch and Jazzy Jeff like comes in the room? He's like, "Did you do something with your hair? You look different." And I just thought that they handled that so good and so funny. I remember being like young and being like, "Oh, that's cool. They made that. They made that reference. That was fun."
So good. And then I guess I'll make this one more normal. My final vote is when Matt Lauer got fired. Not that it's the worst firing, but it was so like he just was the worst person ever. And it's just amazing what comes forward after something like that, and just people being able to say how awful he was. And I'm glad he's fired. From what I've heard, but that was really wild, Matt Lauer.
Yeah. And then they portrayed him in the morning show, and Steve Carell plays his character, and I think he's somewhat sympathetic, so it's interesting. But all right, so for my last pick, I feel like this is not my best draft, but I'm just gonna go another homer pick here, another Buffalo connection. But Wade Phillips, why did he get fired? I mean, he had 2 pretty good years. I felt like and then he went on, he was a great defensive coordinator for many, many years after that too. So Son of Bum on Twitter. That's his Twitter handle. So he's no joke. That's what his Son of Bum.
Yeah,
because his name is Bum Phillips.
Oh, it's cute.
I think he deserved it. He was a really bad head coach, I think. But
well, Matt Lauer was a really bad guy, so
he was too. I'm just saying. I'm not saying for what. Those are all good. Some that were on my list that I'm not going to go with here. My last pick is Lisa Bonet, getting fired from the Cosby Show. The daughter, Michael Scott, getting fired from The Office before the last couple seasons. I used the SNL thing, so I didn't want to use Shane Gillis, but his firing from SNL was sad. Steve Jobs got fired. Did you ever know this? Steve Jobs got fired as I didn't see the movie. Sorry. But he got, and then went back and, made your stupid Apple phones.
No, we read the book. Sorry.
I apologize. Marty Schottenheimer for sports is the best for twice. It's in this topic twice. They fired him for Spurrier in Washington, and then in which was absolutely horrible. And then in LA or San Diego for the Chargers, they fired him after a 14-2 season. Like, what? It's so insane. Jimmy Johnson was horrible. Marv Levy, our boy, got fired from KC before he came here. Bill Belichick, nobody mentioned from the Browns. Well, how are they? How are they feeling about that move years later? I thought a really good one, personal one that nobody probably would get is Roman firing Jerry in the show Succession. That was a real Succession was a big fan. But I think the one that I'm going to go with here is Jerry Maguire. Because he got fired, and then he started a revolution, and that girl left with him, and then he went and got that radio dude to sign on with him, and then he did sign language, and then he got a concussion, and then something with Forrest Gump came at the end, or like a girl had AIDS. I don't know, but that movie was pretty good. You know what I'm talking about? No, Jerry Maguire gets. I'm just joking and mixing up movies, but Jerry Maguire gets inspired in the beginning of that movie.
Got it. You were confusing that and the movie Congo. Okay.
No, I the radio because Cubic Jr. was radio. Okay.
Bring it back to Diddy. Bring it back.
Bring it right back to Diddy. How was Diddy not the most awkward thing we talked about today? That's. And look at this, 59 minutes. 59 minutes. A bunch of live listeners today. Thanks for joining us. This was probably our most watched episode in a couple months. So they must have saw the Met stuff. And rushed on. we gotta get Ryan on the train. Ryan, you don't have a baseball team, right? You're not really into baseball. Just go buy a hat.
No, but my dad's a big Mets fan. He grew up in New York area, so yeah, he's always loved the Mets.
I would have loved if he was like he grew up in Kansas.
Yeah.
My dad's a huge Mets fan. He grew up in Missouri.
Yeah. The Colorado Mets, we love them.
I know we're perfect timing, so we won't do it this week, but I cannot believe we got through an hour and did not talk about the Aaron Hernandez show. Can we please have a full segment on it next week?
We'll dedicate that.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you everyone for watching and listening to Analytics for the Nerds. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Good luck this week in fantasy and go Mets.